Hi everyone, welcome to the Sack Race Reacts. We are talking all things Fulham today. Scott Parker is reportedly set to leave the club according to Sky Sports and move over to Bournemouth, the fellow Championship side. I'm Jack Kitson and I'm here with Gab Sutton, otherwise known as Football Lab. Hello Gab.
Hi Jack, how you keeping, mate?
I'm very well, thanks. And you, mate?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks.
Cool. Right. Before we get underway, guys, please do subscribe, like the video, comment, let us know who you want in as the next Fulham manager, and also check out the Sack Craze. There's plenty of articles and odds on Tottenham, Everton, and Palace. Will any of those clubs ever appoint a manager? We'll have to wait and see. But Gab, what's your initial reaction? Because these reports have been sort of going around for the last couple of weeks, but it now looks set that Parker is going to leave Fulham. How do you feel about that? And him leaving to go to Bournemouth?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I think he got Fulham promoted in his first full season there. I think there were maybe one or two question marks about how Fulham got over the line. I think, a lot of it was sort of the clinical finishing of Mitrovic, and actually in that promotion season, at times they actually created more chances without Mitrovic, quite interesting. And then in the Premier League, they obviously started very slowly, had a period sort of in the middle part where they drew quite a few games and started to play quite well, a little bit like Brighton maybe, and you thought, they could make a push for survival, and Newcastle were wobbling, and then towards the back end it kind of capitulated again a little bit. So I think Scott Parker hasn't really been able to get another Premier League job in the same way that he might have then had their season finished well. But it's going to be interesting to see what this means in terms of what he's been offered financially to go to Bournemouth. Who are they going to be willing to spend more? Which is interesting because this is Bournemouth's second season coming down from the Premier League, after coming down from the Premier League in the Championship. So whereas Fulham have 3 years of parachute payment ahead of them, just coming down now. So I suppose you'd question. What's the reasoning behind this? I suppose job security could be a factor as well, because if he starts poorly at Fulham, then I suppose he might come under more pressure than he would if perhaps he started poorly at Bournemouth.
He was, of course, one of numerous favourites briefly for the Tottenham job, but yeah, it looks like he's going to Bournemouth. Championship rivals. They're both similar odds to get promoted, but looking ahead, we expect it to become official in the next few days. But as to who they could appoint, Bet Victor have released the market, and we've got Steve Cooper, the Swansea boss, is the evens favourite at the time of recording. Cooper, 2 playoff finishes in 2 years with Swansea, and he's another one who's been linked with Crystal Palace. He's still around the mark, I think, around the 5-1 second favourite. He's now the favourite for Fulham. Could you see him doing a sort of Scott Parker in a way, and moving from another Championship club to another Championship club?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I think for the similar reasons to what I said about Scott Parker, in the sense that he's kind of in some ways saving the work that he did at Bournemouth and kind of banking it a little bit, because 2 playoff campaigns on paper is a very good achievement, especially given that Swansea haven't necessarily been the biggest spenders in the Championship. And I think what's interesting is that although Steve Cooper was a youth team coach and led England to the under-17s, we normally associate former youth coaches with being, liking very expansive football and being a very attack-minded, and their sides being a little bit naive at times. Swansea haven't been that. I mean, Cooper often played 3-5-2 last year, and especially with Ayew, who's second striker, kind of often dropping into midfield, there was quite a conservative setup. And I actually think that Swansea, although they missed out on the playoffs that year, they're probably more exciting to watch than Graham Potter. So I think it would make sense from Steve Cooper's perspective to say, I've done a good job at Swansea, and then maybe move on to Fulham, where being a new coach, you might get a little bit more leeway again if things don't start particularly well. I feel like I would back Swansea to get a good replacement more than I would back Cooper to do well at Fulham, if I'm truthful.
Okay. And then next in the running, I mean, we've seen these two feature in multiple markets over the last 6 months and a year. Eddie Howe, linked with everyone. and Chris Wilder as well, who became available, I think, in February. Looked like he was getting the West Brom job, of course, but that never materialised. Both at 8-1. Could either of them get this job?
I think Eddie Howe would be an excellent appointment. I think the work that he did at Bournemouth with a reliable core of players, I suppose, would be quite an appealing option over so many years. I mean, it was only really final campaign at Bournemouth where things didn't quite go so well for him, but it was an incredible journey that him and Bournemouth went on. I don't think the recruitment under Howe was particularly good, so I almost think that actually Howe working in a structure where maybe the recruitment is delegated a lot more, that might actually suit him a little bit. I like the way Eddie Howe works. I like the style of football that he encourages, and he's got some really good experience as well. So I can definitely see a lot of logic in the Eddie Howe appointment. Chris Wilder, though, part of the reason why he left Sheffield United was because he wasn't able to fit into the structure that the owners were proposing, and for that reason, I wouldn't be quite so keen on Wilder for Fulham.
And then just below those two, we've got Frank Lampard at 10-1. Then we've got Patrick Vieira, Derek McInnes, Alex Neil, all at 12-1. And Thierry Rieu's, of course, out with Belgium, back in their coaching setup at the Euros. He's there at 14-1. Now on to Roy Hodgson, 16-1. What a job he did at Fulham previously. He saved them from the drop, led them up to 7th in the Premier League, and all the way through to that memorable Europa League or UEFA Cup final at the time. Could he go back? He's available. I think he wants one more challenge. Could you see this one happening?
I'm not sure I see that one happening. I know Roy Hodgson did a wonderful job for them last time. What I would say is that over the last few years under Slavisa Jokanovic and under Scott Parker, Fulham have established quite a 4-3-3, quite a possession-based style of football. And I think what we've seen, Crystal Palace, I think when Hodgson first took over, had a squad kind of suited to 4-3-3, and Hodgson was quite staunch in the way he went about it with that 4-4-2. And he did a good job at Crystal Palace, don't get me wrong. But I just feel that Fulham might be looking for someone a little bit on the younger side. And also, I think that it would be a shame in some respects if Hodgson went back to Fulham and it didn't go quite so well, because he made so many amazing memories from his first time there. And I feel like sometimes he's got to just preserve that legacy.
In terms of sort of untested managers, we've got John Terry, who's just completed his pro license today, actually. He's 20-1, looking for his first opportunity. Michael Carrick, similarly, 20-1. Up in Scotland, Callum Davidson at St Johnstone. What a great job he's done there. He won both domestic cups last season. Gab, we use your EFL knowledge now. Is there anyone further down the EFL ladder that you think could grab their attention? Maybe a Michael Duff from Cheltenham. Neil Critchley's done a great job at Blackpool, or maybe a Russell Martin from MK Dons.
I think if there were to be an appointment made from the lower divisions, I think the best one will probably be Michael Appleton at Lincoln City. This is a manager who's actually worked in the Premier League before, briefly at Leicester City as interim head coach. He's generally been a manager that's picked the structure rather than the club. So he's gone to Oxford United, he's gone to Lincoln City, clubs that aren't necessarily the biggest in the bottom two divisions of English of the EFL, but he's recognised the structure in place, and I think that's quite important to him. And I feel like he's going to be quite happy to work within the off-field structure that Fulham have. And I think he's a really good coach in terms of, you look at the number of players that he's developed that have since gone on to play in the Premier League or in the Championship from League Two or League One. I think he's extremely impressive, and I think Michael Appleton's still got a big future ahead of him, and I think Fulham could be part of that.
That's a great shout. We saw him linked with West Brom, didn't we, recently, and a few other clubs. But he's at Leeds.
And they're obviously going for Valerian Ismail, so that might open the door to Appleton. Yeah.
This is the thing. Fulham may have to act quick, because Barnsley will, of course, be looking for a new manager soon as well.
Everyone's looking for a new manager.
I know, and no one's really finding one either, especially up in the Premier League. Yeah, there's Vincenzo Montella who played for Fulham. He's 25-1. He's managed Roma, Fiorentina, but he's been available for, I think, the last couple of years.
He's a bit of a Fulham legend as well, isn't he? I think.
Yeah. And Chris Coleman, another former manager, 20-1. Got Carl Robinson here, who's at Oxford, similar price. You don't see Sam Allardyce getting this one, do you?
I don't see Sam Allardyce getting it now, Jack. I mean, I think what's interesting is, I was talking about Steve Cooper earlier. I think a lot of clubs are actually more willing to go for coaches that have done really well in the youth or the under-23s circuit these days, because they feel like they can get some high-profile contacts, I suppose, which helps them in the loan market. And, excuse me, that experience of developing young players can be quite valuable. And in that vein, Jack, I would like to suggest Frank Lampard. Now, a lot of Fulham fans are probably going to shoot me for saying this, because they'd have probably been hurling abuse at Lampard when he was taking corners at the Cottage. So, I think instantly he'd probably have a little bit of work to kind of win them over. But listen, this is someone who got Derby to the player final in 2019. He's managed in the Champions League. He's a talented young coach and played a big part in developing some of English football's brightest prospects. There could be an argument for bringing in Frank Lampard, and I do think that, and again, I realise that Fulham fans who hate Chelsea might hate me for saying this, but that ability to utilise the loan market, I don't think you can underestimate that. If we're talking purely from a practical perspective, and we put the footballing rivalries aside, which I know is incredibly difficult today.
So Lampard, he's around the 10-1 mark. It's good to see there's a range of candidates. You've got Steve Cooper building along nicely, 2 years under his belt at Swansea, maybe looking for that next step. Chris Wilder, an abundance of experience. He's got that promotion. He's got numerous promotions at different clubs. Eddie Howe, he's got promotion too, looking for his next opportunity. Plays really attractive and entertaining football, which I'm sure Fulham fans would want. Frank Lampard, on the other hand, he's got experience, but he's still sort of at the start of his career, but he develops young players, which would be attractive also. Then you've just got totally different managers like Patrick Vieira, who we've not yet seen in England, perhaps surprisingly. Alex Neil, loads of championship experience, 4 odd years he spent at Preston. And there's a few wild cards as well. I think they're only in the betting for the sake of it, but Andrea Pirlo.
Paul Tisdale, I spotted in
Paul Tisdale, he's always in there, isn't he? Andrea Pirlo, though, he left Juventus. Could that happen? Could he come over to the Championship?
Oh, that would be bonkers. I mean, we've seen crazy things happen before. We've seen Rafa Benitez manage Newcastle in the Championship. We've seen, Nuno Santo. It sometimes happen. It would be, I tell you what, it would be the most incredible thing to watch, wouldn't it? To watch Andrea Pirlo, go in the dugout at Blackpool and with all due respect to Blackpool, it would just be an incredible sort of story, I suppose, with Andrea Pirlo working the Championship. And I know as an EFL follower, that's something I'd love to see. Can I see it happening? Who knows?
Who knows? So we're going to say Eddie Howe looking good for this one, and you also like the look of Frank Lampard too.
Yes, those will be my two. Yeah.
Cracking. Thanks for coming on, Gab.
That's my pleasure, Jack. Take care now.